Hey guys, how's it going? Welcome back to my channel, Gardening in Cold Spring Harbor. Welcome back to my home. Welcome back to Long Island, New York, Zone 7A. The month of March is finally here, which means that spring is only a few short weeks away. And we have so many gardening tasks which we must do now in the month of March for our best gardening season ever. We have so much to plant. We have all these supports which we need to set up. We have all this cleanup and trimming that we need to do, as well as all those weeds which are starting to come up as the weather is warming up. So in today's video, we're going to talk about all the must-do gardening tasks which you, my fellow home gardeners, cannot afford to skip if you want to have the best home garden of your life. So for those of you looking for that online gardening channel which offers tips, tricks, easy, proven gardening advice to take your home gardens to the next level, don't go anywhere, guys. Stick around with me today. Start with going below this video and clicking the subscribe button if you are enjoying the content of my videos. If you find my videos to be useful, helpful, informative in absolutely any way, show me that support by clicking the bell icon as well. YouTube will send you notifications every single time I'll upload a new garden video. Now come with me, let's get gardening. With the warmer weather arriving, in fact, I've been noticing very steady increase in the air temperatures here in Long Island, New York, Zone 7A. So what does that mean? That means that we must step up with our watering. We must start watering our seedlings actively, especially if you're growing them inside, indoors, in your home. With the air temperatures going up, our soil, our potting mix will start to dry out quicker. If you are growing your crops directly outside, you should start checking your soil for moisture content more often than you have been doing in the month of February. We cannot afford to underwater our seedlings or our crops. So get on out there and start checking your soil for the moisture content. Many of us have been noticing that increase in the air temperatures finally. However, don't let Mother Nature fool you for even a second. If you know that you have frost sensitive seedlings or crops outside, make sure that you bring those seedling trays inside, indoors, if Mother Nature decides to throw a curveball at us. If you have new transplants or very delicate crops growing outside, make sure that you have that frost protection cloth as well as hoops ready to go in case you still need to cover them up if the air temperatures drop, especially during nighttime hours, because our crops will suffer if Mother Nature decides to surprise us. If you know you have new transplants in your home garden, or you have those flowers or crops growing that are indeed sensitive to cold temperatures or even frost, make sure that you take your time to get that frost protection cloth out, to get those hoops out and set up in case Mother Nature decides to throw a curveball at us. Make sure you have those garden pins as well. I want to show you, my fellow home gardeners, what I have growing under this frost protection cloth. I have my ranunculus. Yes, my fellow home gardeners, it is right over here. I have quite a few ranunculus plants growing. Here are my hoops. And you know what? Many say that ranunculus is only cold hardy to zone 8. However, I always keep my ranunculus in the ground. I never dig them up, the corms. I keep them exactly where they were blooming. And I always use hoops as well as frost fabric cloth and the gardening pins to put the cloth in the place. And I keep them entire fall and entire winter season exactly where they are. And you just saw for yourself They're absolutely fine. In fact, they are nice and lush and green. And once the temperatures will get steady enough, warm enough, I will remove this frost protection cloth and let my ranunculus bloom for me once again. March is the perfect month to tidy up our herb gardens, especially if you have our herbs growing from previous growing seasons. I have my parsley growing right over here, and you could see that with the temperatures warming up, we're starting to see new green, bright growth. However, there's still plenty of older foliage, which we must prune off using scissors or our pruning shears. So cleaning up our herb gardens is absolutely essential now. Month of March is also a perfect time to plant new herbs as well for this growing season, this gardening season. So what can and what should you plant now in the month of March? You can plant your parsley, you can plant thyme, oregano, and even cilantro. Sage is another great plant that you can plant now in the month of March. I'm going to be sowing more parsley from seeds right over here in this empty spot. March is also the perfect month to plant or transplant our alliums. Those are our onions, chives, anything from the onion family. If you have chives growing here in zone 7A, chives are a perennial. So as you could see with the warmer weather, I have seen new shoots start to come up. So if you have any old foliage, any dead foliage, you should prune it off to allow more spacing for the new green growth to come up. If you haven't started your alliums from seed just yet, say you decided not to grow your onions from seed this gardening season, you should start planting your onion sets now in the month of March. So where do you get these onion sets? They are widely available now in garden centers, in nurseries, even big box stores carry onion sets, shallots, red onions, white onions, yellow onions, your Walla Walla onions. So what are onion sets? They're miniature sized onions, which you should plant either directly in the soil of your home garden or even a raised garden bed. Just make sure that you properly space your onion sets or your transplants for that matter. What is the correct spacing for our onions or shallots? Correct spacing between each of the sets or each of the transplants should be between 6 to 8 inches because you want to give enough spacing for that onion bulb to grow and to get larger. That is why we grow our onions for the bulb. So the more spacing you give, the larger bulbs you're going to get. What is yet another important gardening task for the month of March? We must start getting ready to plant our flower containers. So if you have any pots or containers outside which were left untouched throughout the fall or even winter season, I have one right over here, the beautiful proven winter plants growing on it. As you could see, they didn't last through the winter. But I must start getting this container ready for a new spring planting. I'm planning to plant beautiful spring blooming flowers in this container. So right now, it is the perfect time in the month of March to clean up this container, to remove any dead plants from the previous growing season, to discard of them accordingly, and to amend our soil. We must make sure that the soil will be nice and loose. I'm going to add beautiful compost to the soil and let my soil sit here and let all the nutrients from the compost absorb beautifully into the soil. And by the time I'm ready to plant my spring blooming flowers, the soil will be fully ready for that gorgeous planting. As I plant my flowers in the spring, I want to make sure that whatever flowers I plant will last throughout the entire spring and even into early summer. So amending that soil is a crucial step. And right now in the month of March is the perfect and ideal time to do that. So head on out to your backyard, to your patio. Check your containers. Make sure that each one is cleaned and the soil is amended with either manure or compost. With the air temperatures quickly warming up, you're going to see many unwanted, unsightly weeds come up as well. March is the time to get ahead of these nasty, unwanted weeds. March is the time to combat them, to get rid of them so that they don't suck the nutrients and water from our crops. I have my son Leonard right over here helping me pull out some weeds in my blueberry garden right over here. He's doing a great job. Make sure you pull out these weeds intact with the roots, because if you leave the root system in the soil, they will come back and regrow for you again. March is the perfect time to get that head start on your spring and summer garden. March is the perfect month to get your trellis as well as your crop supports out, positioned, and ready to go, especially if you plan on growing, climbing, or vining crops such as your beans, cucumbers, or even tomatoes. I have my little garden helpers right over here today who are actually helping me take out and position all of my supports as well as trellis. Here they are, my Natalie and my Leonard. They already brought quite a few supports out. They're helping me out with the rest. I love when my little helpers are active and helping me home garden. Another very important gardening task for the month of March. In fact, this task is absolutely crucial. None of us home gardeners should ever skip this task. What is that task? It's amending our soil in our home garden. Whether you're amending it directly in the ground or in your raised garden bed. We should always take the time to loosen up the soil thoroughly, especially if you're planning to grow root crops such as your beets, carrots, potatoes. Those require very loose, airy soil. Once you are done loosening up your soil, what is the next step? The next very important step is to properly amend it. What do we amend our soil with? You can choose either manure or compost. Once we add manure or compost to the soil, we should always take the time to diligently mix everything together. Then we leave our soil alone, we leave our raised garden beds alone, and let them sit there until you're ready to plant or transplant in them. Soil needs that extra time to absorb all those nutrients. Don't expect to place your compost and within 24 hours for all those nutrients to be available in that soil. All those nutrients need to be absorbed by the microorganisms in that soil. So it does take some time. I like to amend my garden beds at least a month before I plan to plant anything in them. Because 1 month, I feel like is the perfect amount of time for everything to absorb, to mix together. Everything, like I like to say, will marry each other within that time frame. So get on out there, get that shovel, get that rake, get that compost out, get that bag of manure out, and start amending your soil in your home gardens. What is that next very important gardening task for the month of March so we can have the best gardening season ever? And that is to plant our strawberries. If you were ever thinking about growing your own strawberries, now is the perfect time to plant them. Many garden centers and nurseries have ready transplants for sale now, which you can purchase and easily pop into the soil of your home garden. The great thing about strawberries is you can grow them directly in the soil. You can grow them in a container. You can grow them in a grow bag or even a raised garden bed. You know what else is great now during the late winter month is that you can get your hands on strawberry bare roots. That is a great and affordable way to plant and grow your strawberries. All you have to do is purchase them, and they're much cheaper than purchasing fully mature transplants. You pre-soak those strawberry bare roots and you pop them in right into the soil of your home garden. For those of you who are interested in how I planted this entire raised bed using strawberry bare roots last early spring, I still have that video available on my gardening channel, Gardening in Cold Spring Harbor. I planted 3 different strawberry varieties right over here, all from bare roots. And as you could see, everything took off and is growing beautifully. And with the weather warming up, I am seeing new growth come up everywhere. Look at all those new baby leaves which are starting to come up. In a matter of another few short weeks, I'm going to be ready for my strawberry bed spring cleanup, and I'll keep you guys updated on that as well. But definitely check out my video on my gardening channel, how I plant and grow my strawberries from bare roots. And I love seeing my kiddos walk up to this bed in the summer every single day, in fact multiple times a day, and pick those delicious red juicy strawberries and eat them right on the spot. Makes me so happy knowing that I don't have to buy a single strawberry box in my local supermarket, because homegrown strawberries will never ever compare in sizing, juiciness, fragrance, or flavor to supermarket strawberries. How many times we bought those strawberries and they have a white stripe on top? Why? Because they were picked prematurely. How many times we pick up a box of strawberries, smell it for beautiful strawberry fragrance, and it smells like absolutely nothing? Well, try growing your own strawberries. I promise you, you'll never ever go back to purchasing supermarket strawberries again. With the air temperatures quickly warming up, we're going to start seeing our roses, rose trees, rose shrubs, climbing roses start to wake up from their dormancy period. You're going to start to see new growth like these buds right over here. So if you haven't yet pruned your rose shrubs like I have right over here with these, you can still see the old growth from the previous years. Right now is the time to come in with our pruning shears and to give our rose shrubs a nice prune. Don't be afraid to come in with your pruning shears and to give your roses a nice hard prune. Remember, you must cut at an angle to prevent disease or bacteria entering. For those of you who are interested in how I prune my roses, I have a video on my gardening channel, Gardening Cold Spring Harbor, where I give you step-by-step easy instructions on how to correctly prune our rose plants for maximal growth and bloom. If you're interested, check out that video as well, as I feel that it's very, very useful, and it's still available on my channel, Gardening in Cold Spring Harbor. Another must-do gardening task for the month of March is to walk around our home gardens and take a look at our perennials, especially the herbaceous perennials. If you haven't pruned the old stems off, trimmed them off in the late fall or early winter of last year, now in the month of March is the perfect time to get rid of all this old dry stems and foliage, because with the weather actively warming up, you're going to start to see new green growth start to come up. So you must give it plenty of room to grow. So what can you do? You can either come in with pruning shears and prune off these dead old stems, or most of the time they're dead and hollow by now. So you can easily come in with your fingers and pull them off. You can discard them or you can compost them as well. So take that time right now, my fellow home gardeners. Walk around your home garden. Take a look at your plants, especially at your perennials. See what you took care of already and what needs to be trimmed and pruned off right now. March is also the month for us home gardeners to come out and to fertilize, to spring fertilize our rhododendron as well as our azalea shrubs. These shrubs are waking up from their dormancy period and will bloom for us in no time. So if you want to see brighter, larger blooms on your rhododendron as well as your azalea shrubs, right now in the month of March is the time to fertilize these spring blooming beauties. Another very important gardening task for the month of March is to transplant out your brassicas. So what are our brassicas? They are our cabbage, cauliflower, broccoli, and or Brussels sprouts. If you have started your brassicas from seeds inside, indoors, in seed starting trays, and your transplants are large enough, now in the month of March is the time to transplant them. They are cool weather loving crops. One more tip I want to share with you, my fellow home gardeners. Just because you're ready to transplant your cool weather loving crops outside does not mean that you shouldn't keep a close eye on the air temperatures, that you shouldn't keep a close eye on Mother Nature. Just because they're called cool weather loving crops does not mean that they will necessarily tolerate frost. I always keep a very close eye on the air temperatures, especially knowing that we did not approach our last anticipated frost date. So if you're going to start seeing air temperatures go lower, potentially approaching the freezing mark, say anything below 40 degrees Fahrenheit, make sure that you once again will have your hoops and your frost protection cloth out and ready so you can cover your freshly transplanted brassicas. This is it for this video, you guys. Thank you so much for joining me here today in my home garden in Long Island, New York, Zone 7A. In today's video, we spoke about all the must-do gardening tasks for the month of March. All the tasks which we home gardeners cannot afford to skip if we want to have the best home gardens of our lives. So for those of you who enjoyed the content of today's video, if you found today's video to be useful, helpful, informative, in absolutely any way, show me that support by clicking thumbs up below. Leave your comments in the comments section as well. Let me know, have you got a head start in your home garden just yet? Have you completed any of the tasks that we spoke about today? If so, what have you done so far? What are you planning to do, my fellow home gardeners? Let me know what you have planted already in your home gardens. I love reading each and every single one of your comments, and I personally respond to each and every single one of you. For those of you who haven't yet subscribed to my gardening channel, Gardening Cold Spring Harbor, what are you waiting for, guys? My fellow home gardeners, do so today. Super easy for you to do, super pleasing and rewarding to me. Just go below this video and click the subscribe button. Click the bell icon as well if you are enjoying the content of my garden videos, and on YouTube to send you notifications every single time I'll upload a new garden video. Stay healthy, happy, be well, each and every single one of you. Let's get on out there and get all of these important gardening tasks done. And happy gardening, my fellow home gardeners, and I'll see you again in my new upcoming garden videos. Bye, guys.